the more layers you add in terms of technology, the more security you need, right? You used to be surprised to see a lot of providers out there of the program still doing work, exchanging emails and getting invoices, uploaded to email files or Dropbox and things like that, or using spreadsheets to track work.
We are here with Carlos Coelho from Boast.AI, the head of sales of this really, really interesting and innovative company. But also, Carlos, a good friend of mine that I know for a long time. Carlos, for people that might be new to Boast.AI, what should they know? What's the essence of what you're doing?
Yeah, good question. One of the biggest programs that the Canadian government has for incentivizing companies to take risks is called the SR&ED program, an acronym that stands for Scientific Research and Experimental Development. They give out up to $4 billion every year back to companies that apply for it. So Boast has been in business for more than a decade, helping companies put a claim together, build a claim around SR&ED. And we've used automation and software to develop the best way that exists today on how to put a claim together in the best way possible.
Yeah. Awesome. And so you said already, we've been doing it for a long time, and we've been using automation, which is it's almost like automation is like the vintage term for AI. It's like what people are now all talking about. AI is machine learning, artificial intelligence have been around for a long time. A lot of people may not realize that when people were using the word automation, there's a lot of artificial intelligence already involved for a long time. So you guys have embraced AI as one of the ways to set you apart, to build your technology, to help your clients. What is the use case? How are your teams, using AI to come up with the best possible experience, if you will?
Right. When a client comes to us, they're hoping to get help to build a claim, a successful claim to submit to the CRA. So what the CRA says is, we want to see who did what, for how long, and how much you paid them. Right. That's the specificity of a SR&ED claim, and they're incentivizing risk taking. So you decide to hire folks that are physically located in Canada, and you pay them a salary. They pay taxes on that salary. They get a T4, and then you're able to then submit a claim to say, hey, I spent all this money to try to solve a problem, what the CRA calls a technical uncertainty. Okay. You saw a problem out there that you decided to solve. You couldn't find an answer anywhere on the web or anywhere in the public domain. You had to build a solution yourself. And the result of that solution is what could potentially be eligible for a claim. So the process of building that, you don't have to come to a solution to be able to file a claim. You just need to have a methodology on how you went about to solve that problem. Right? We tried, 3 steps. None of them worked, but I learned that these 3 steps don't work, and I got a little closer to a potential solution. That is enough for a claim. The fact that you spent your own money doing that, and the way we help companies is we automate the whole process. So a lot of companies that are doing R&D and hardware, software development, they use software to track the work, like Asana, like Monday.com, like Jira, like GitHub, and there's no better way to see what the work was than actually plug to those tools through the APIs and see tickets, metadata on the tickets, who did what for how long, and connect that to accounting and payroll, so you can see how much they got paid for it. Right. So when we do our work for a client, we include all that was done. We don't have to go and ask them, hey, what did you do last?
Right.
January, right? It's March now. What did you do last January? Like a year ago. People don't know. They have to go to their calendars and try to find out. So once we pull all that data, our AI through the platform can create different buckets of kind of work, time derivation, how much time was spent on specific tasks. Have an AI classifier that can determine what kind of projects we're seeing here. We validate that back with our clients. Say, hey, here are the big projects we see. Here are the people that we see that worked on them. This is all backed up by the work that they actually did. And we build our claims, to be ready to be audited. The CRA will audit 1 in 4 claims every year. And we build them as if they're going to be audited because we have all the data, we have all the information. There's no point in not doing so. So it is a very, very powerful process, and we have very high success rate in terms of returns, in terms of getting claims approved, and even sometimes when you get into an audit, a success rate, reclaiming rate, right? So
Yeah.
there is no other way of doing claims in an innovative way today than using this type of technology, in my opinion.
Yeah. So there's so many things that you say that left to like go deeper into it. And there's obviously, excitement, there's concerns, and we'll get back to that in just a second. But when you say like, oh, we collect so much data, and like it also can help you set up for audit and what have you. So you go in with a single goal to like get this claim done, but there's an immediate spillover, if you will, to like, being able to do audit. There's industry standards that people might be looking for that same data, what have you. So and you said get great returns. Are there what are some of the that you see with your teams that are working with clients? Like, what are some of those spillover values as well that are being created? Like, what are some of the use cases you see there? You already mentioned like audits, industry standards. Do you have some insights, some data on that? Like, hey, if you work with us, great for this goal, but it also opens up the door to a bunch of other value.
Yeah, no, this is actually a very good question. We are right now working on a new product that we're going to offer very soon to our clients, called Claim Insights. So because we have so much data from clients of ours, based on the documentation that we're able to pull from their own systems, we're able to do some derivation on intelligence based on the industries that they're part of, which you can't do using a spreadsheet or doing a technical interview on the phone.
Right.
Only when you look at aggregated information from a particular client associated with the same industry that client works or is part of, you can associate and make correlations or inferences and be able to provide some value. Hey, company of your size in the same industry has hired these many R&D folks here, and they've seen this kind of return over time.
Yeah.
Our goal is to be a system of record for R&D, a platform that can provide. We see clients have been with us for 10 years, and you can see the growth of their R&D production over time, and the returns on their claims over time. It's fascinating, and one thing that we do that we find very powerful as well is the process of submitting a claim can take time. We usually building a claim is 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
Then you submit that claim. The CRA has 60 days to review that and approve. If it's approved as filed, like our taxes, then you'd likely get your money back in 7 days, business days. If you get into an audit, then you have to prepare to defend it. It can be another 3, 4, 5, 6 months to see any money. So sometimes It's like 12-month goes between the time that we started working together and the time you see some money, right? One of our products that we have to try to help bridge that gap is called Quick Fund. So we will lend the money to our customers in the first 3 months of accrued expenditures in R&D, so they don't have to wait. We've been doing this for so many years. We know when a claim is going to be successful. We know what kind of work CRA is looking for to approve. So we are able to, in 3 months, say, hey, you've accrued, I don't know, 200,000 so far. We can lend you part of that money now, so you can continue to pay your employees. You can hire more people. You can build more product, right? And instead of waiting a full 12 months sometimes to see some of that money back. Yeah. And it's a very, very valuable offering, because it helps companies, continue to grow and don't have to wait for this thing, which is a big deal. For the SR&ED program. A lot of companies come to Canada just because the SR&ED program is a very valuable program.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I'm sure that also like you've laid bare some surprises for your clients as you find do all your findings and get all the data. You already mentioned it, like the best value comes when you are connected with those platforms, the ticketing platforms. With you need to know what's basically going on in R&D. You need to be connected with financial data as well, and payroll and all that kind of stuff. So for somebody like myself that has been in the cybersecurity trenches for the last few years, that's a lot of highly sensitive data that there needs to be a really big level of trust between your client and yourself for them to go like, oh yeah, for sure, here, have access to all of that. So what are for you, being head of sales, I bet you get a lot of these questions and a lot of these potential concerns like, hey, how are you doing this? What are you going to do? How are you going to make sure that nobody else but the CRA has the information that they should? Like that must be really top of mind for a company like Boast.
Yeah, 100%. Security and privacy is number one for us. As you can imagine, a lot of the work that we look at, that we have to talk to the clients about has to do with their IP, their R&D work, which is very important and has to be very secure. Our platform is SOC 2 compliant, so very important for us to talk about that. All our messaging systems go through the platform, so we don't exchange emails with important files or anything like that. All the uploads, everything can be done through the platform, which is then encrypted. So, and all the data is uniquely separated, so we don't, there's no data that's mixed up between different clients or industries. So it's a very important piece for what Boast does, and has always been the case for us from day one. And as you can imagine, the more layers you add in terms of technology, the more security you need. Right? It's to be surprised to see a lot of providers out there of the program still doing work, exchanging emails and getting invoices, uploaded to email files or Dropbox and things like that, or using spreadsheets to track work. That's I would say valuable for some type of companies or small companies, but I think considering cybersecurity today, to be compliant, to have a very safe platform for this kind of work is paramount, and it's the number one thing for us, and we work really hard to make sure every data that we touch is very well protected.
When we talk about cybersecurity and all that kind of stuff, people are always worried about it keeps you up and what have you seen go wrong. But let's keep this in a very positive conversation. You're talking about some of the things that you could or should be doing as a secure organization. Is there even if you leave maybe even a little bit just a pure cybersecurity element behind, and just go a little bit more on the value that's been created, or some of the success that you've seen, can you give us a best practice that has excited you, that you've seen with one of your clients, a client that has done something really smart that you can share with us?
I would say, folks that are specifically to the SR&ED program, which is what I'm familiar with, folks that have consider tracking all their work from day one. So you see a lot of companies starting and try to build an MVP, and get to a point where they can potentially see some revenue or have it being tested by some users. Tracking the work from day one in a safe way is the number one thing, because you build, not only you can track and see what happened in the past, but you can also build on that muscle that you're going to need throughout the time that you have that company, if you're filing for a SR&ED claim, if you have a technical uncertainty that you're trying to solve. And that can be in many industries. Like we work with companies in hardware, software, biotech, oil and gas, mining, so you name it, fashion industry, all of them have some type of, at some point, potentially some uncertainties or new technology they're building that they can potentially be eligible for a claim. And so being assertive about the data they collect, being accurate, very good data hygiene to make sure they're collecting the right thing, the timing that things happen, the timestamp that things happen. If they don't have a system in place, if they do have a system in place, like I said, Asana or Monday.com or Jira, GitHub, that's great. I mean, that's the way to go. And these systems are protected, are very secure, right, in the way they track work. And so making sure you have, two-factor authentication, making sure you don't leave things out in the open. It is your R&D, after all, that you're investing in and considering. So that's a big important piece for us and for the industries that we work with. Do you get that, Jasper?
I got it.